Yeah, just give me all of the respect. I use your reverence as a reward. They know that I got the power and they looking at me like the source. Take my throne, boy, stop that. I'm on my hill, can't top that. You take this L, yeah, rock that. You know, I never needed a cosign. Yeah, I'm gon' shine. I rock independent. Representing like I work for the Senate. You double LC, you ain't got no.
Good morning, Knicks universe. KOD Nation, stand up. And all you DJs, wake up and get your coffee. Welcome to this February 8th, Wednesday edition of the Knicks Morning Brew. I am your guy, Hector, chilling with the one and only, my man, Fabulous Phil. Philip, how are we doing?
I'm good, bro. You know, I got to go to the game last night.
Oh, yeah, baby.
And that was a lot of fun, man. Like, just seeing New York show out last night, bro. It was crazy. Like, seriously, I was telling you guys right before, but it was like every time Orlando tried to, like, get something going and start chanting, it was like the New York Knicks took over the arena and we were just loud. We would drown them out. Like, we were walking through the streets, bro, and I swore we were walking through New York because there were so many Knick jerseys everywhere.
Fire.
Like, it was crazy. Like, every single Knick jersey I think that was ever made was there last night. Like, it was crazy, bro. It was so much fun.
You know, Phil, super jealous first and foremost, but I'm glad that you were able to have that experience last night. Shout out to all the Knicks fans that was in attendance over there in Orlando, making our presence felt, you know. And then we had a special guest that said they would join us today, Phil. And shout out to the man Jalen Brunson, because in that fourth quarter, that man stepped up. He did what he had to do to close the game. And another thing, on note, the Knicks, after last night's win, they are 22-1 when giving up less than 110 points a game. So as long as our defense shows up, as long as our team is engaged in close games, when we give up less than 110 points, everything points to be on our side of things. And having a 22-1 record in those games, it's crazy. Shout out to chat as they come in. Of course, Jiggaman's in the building. Eric Wallace is in the building. EY, what it do? Pudgy Nice is in the building. I see you, Pudge, Sir Pudgino. And then DSJ is in the building, the troll that we love, Phil.
I love him. Yeah, bro, it was crazy because, like, Brunson actually tweeted, and we were talking about it earlier too. Man, Knicks fans know how to travel. Appreciate y'all. And the crazy thing is, though, is like I think 80% of them didn't travel. Like, it's just that thick in Florida with New Yorkers that have either moved here during the recession, moved here just for better jobs, or, you know, just came down for the weather. But, like, you saw every kind of New Yorker in the stand. Like, you saw the Italian guy that, you know, probably owned a deli when he lived out here. Like, he was there. You know, you saw the bodega guy. He was there telling his glory days stories. Like, every single Knick fan was there. And it was just thick, bro. It was fire.
It's, you know, New York City, we travel, bro. We all over the place. Original New Yorkers, we all over the place. You know, a big portion of us moved to Florida to retire. Just like Pudge just said, NYC moved to Florida 100%. That's why, you know, 80% of the drivers in Florida are just nut jobs. You got all that space on the highway and they could just speed 80 miles per hour. Phil's smirking because he's one of those drivers as well.
I ain't gonna lie. Like, We're gonna play a video and you'll see that I was driving while recording.
Bro, recently when I was in Florida last whatever driving, and I always try to, I used to work EMS, so I always like try to look to what's going on around me while I'm driving. Literally an old lady did about like I'm doing 60, so she had to do about like 80 or 90, passing me by, giving me the middle finger because I was driving too slow. I was like, oh, well, that's Florida for you. That's Florida
Yes,
for
sir.
you. But hold on, you bring up that video from last night, right?
Yep.
So let's do it from yesterday. And then also too, you said last night, this is the thing about Florida also. In New York City, it gets dark around like 4:30, 5 o'clock, 5:30. Florida, you good to about like 8 o'clock at night. So I get kind of jealous when it comes to that. But here's that video Phil's talking about.
Right now, I'm driving to my homie Nick's house, who is an Orlando Magic fan and season ticket holder. And he is taking me to the game tonight to watch his Orlando Magic play my New York Knicks. Their strength is our weakness. They have a lot of long and strong guys with really big wingspans, and we do not. And so that could be, that's my GPS right there, and that could be where we struggle, having a smaller team and not really having Mitch there right now could be where they kind of get the best of us. So I'm hoping not. I'm hoping that the creativity of Brunson and the veteran play of Brunson and Randall and RJ, if he shows up tonight, I'm hoping the veteran experience of those three guys will really help us against this young team. Orlando Magic.
Bobo.
Here with my boy Nick. He's got that ball jersey.
Whoa, baby.
Representing the Magic. They're going to lose today.
False.
But I appreciate the ticket anyway.
Soft.
Yeah, that's about his own team, so Knick fans aren't the only ones that are harsh.
Free Phil. Free Phil. Free my man Phil. Yo, hilarious. Hilarious. Phil, where you at, Phil? My man Phil just disappearing. Oh, he's here. He just got his video off.
My camera just dipped.
There you go.
There
you know what it was, bro. You know what it was? All those Knicks fans that were in attendance at the Orlando arena, it threw the camera off. That's what it was, bro. But it's fire to see all those Knicks fans there. Fire to see that, bro.
It was crazy. So like there was one clip, and sorry for the viewers, that was supposed to have music on it. I don't know why it didn't, so it got a little boring there. But behind me when I did that close up, that was Walter Perrin and Gerson Rosas. And so if you don't know who they are, that's the assistant general manager and senior basketball advisor. And so the whole time I was like wicked tempted to go up to them and ask them what it was going to take to fire Tibbs. And my boy Nick was encouraging me to do it, and I just couldn't because I didn't want to get thrown out of the game. But it was hilarious, bro. Like there's so many things in that video. Like when Tibbs was coming by, we were all in that player tunnel. and all the players run by. Tibbs walks by like he's super important, super slow. So I use that as my opportunity to be the voice of Knicks Twitter. And I started yelling like, play Cam Reddish, play Cam Reddish. He was not happy whatsoever. And then the close-up of him, like every single timeout, he is even more angry and like just Napoleon-like in person in a timeout. Like no matter what they were doing bad, he's screaming at them. He's pointing at them. Like they do something good, he's screaming at them. He's pointing at them. Like that dude was just so frustrated throughout the whole game. Like I just wanted to give him a hug or something, to get like calm down, bro. But yeah, it was hilarious.
He needs, you know what he needs? He needs one of your expensive bottles of whiskey. That's what he needs, bro. He needs one of those bottles, those $680 bottles that you have in your house. That's exactly what he needs. Shout out my guy Jacob Petruzzi in the building. Jacob, what it do? Infamous new king is in the building. My man JJ, how you doing? Hope all is well. And then we had Jay Boogie in the chat. Of course, Jay Boogie always comes through with those words of inspiration. Shout out to the chat. Blessings. Last night was the third biggest attendance crowd that Orlando ever had. And that's because we smothered the building. Salute. 3 capital S's to you, Jay Boogie. And he's right, bro. Knicks fans was in full force. And then DSJ said Phil Porto goes to Disney World gift shop looking for Mickey Mouse hat ears. Did you have this orange and blue by any chance? Listen, but last night was a good win. Put a graphic up on the screen for the boys. A 102-98 win by the Knicks. We are basically in sixth place by just a few points behind the Miami Heat, tied for sixth place, and we feeling good right now. Right now, the Knicks are. Hold on, let me just get the schedule right. I mean, the schedule. We won 30 games at this moment. We are at 30 wins. Last year, we won 37 games the entire season. Knicks fans, just put that into perspective. On February 8th, we got 30 wins. Last year, we won a total of 37 wins entirely for the season, right? With 26 games to go. With 26 games left on the schedule, if the Knicks go 500 for the entire way, 13 wins, 13 losses, we will finish with a record of 43-39. Knicks fans, let me know. A 43-39 record. Were you guys expecting this from this team this year? Because I know I wasn't. Going into the season, I wasn't expecting more than 41 wins. I'm gonna just be honest. 40 to 41 is where I had it. But right now, where we are at 30 wins, if we get 13 down the stretch, if we finish this season 13-13, 43-39. My man Pudgy Nice says, absolutely, a big old yes. Infamous new king, Adam Brunson should add 10 more wins than last year. Listen, last year we got 37. If we get 43 wins, that's an extra 5 wins that we had from last year, right? If we could finish with 48, I'll be happy to finish with 48. But Phil, I'm gonna ask you right now, 30 wins. If we finish this stretch of games for the rest of the season, 26 games left to go. If we finish this season 13-13, we'll be 43-39. Would that be satisfactory for you? Is that over the expectations that you had for this team? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, like the thing is with this team, there's adding Brunson has been great. But it's also one of those like we still have to figure out who we are kind of things. And a lot of teams figure out who they are, and it's a complete dumpster fire, as that's happening. Some teams get successful, like OKC, they're figuring out who they are, and it's starting to look pretty impressive, So like being that we're not on the side where it's like, okay, we're figuring out who we are and it's ugly. It is promising, but it's also like, okay, what does this mean for us? We got what 24 hours left or 2 days left, depending on what time does the trade deadline end. I don't even know.
3 p.m. 3 p.m. tomorrow. 3 p.m. on Thursday. Yeah.
Okay. So we got 27 hours, 26 hours. And it's one of those things that it's like, what are we going to do? Like, are we going to be okay with let's just go to the playoffs, see what happens. We don't plan to get, first or second round past, but at least it gives us experience. Or are we trying to actually compete in the playoffs? That's always going to be the question mark, is that we don't know what we're doing. And I guess the next 28 hours, 27 hours will kind of dictate what
Yeah.
our organization is really trying to do. We'll figure that out. Like, is Cam going to be on the bench for no reason for the rest of the year? Is Cam going to be gone? It's a lot of questions, but seeing Brunson, like I said last night in that video, like, if we're going to win, we need to see the creativity of Brunson, and we need to see him kind of show up. That first half was ugly yesterday. Being there yesterday was ugly. Watching that first half was very, very, very ugly. But the second half, Brunson showed up. The second half, we started actually like competing, so we need to see that. I don't think going into the playoffs only competing in the second half is going to be a good look for us. Like, we got to figure it out to start and finish well.
Yeah, shout out to Ron and John from Still Knicks fans. Ron Stradamus just came in. He said, "What's good, Knicks family? Salute to the chat. Salute Phil, Jiggaman, and Hector. I predicted we would win 45 games. Then once the season started, I changed it to 43. Can we say Ron Stradamus? We got to get a t-shirt for Ron. We definitely got to get a t-shirt with Ron for that. My man Jonathan." Yeah, that's hilarious. My man Jonathan says 43 and 20. I think he says 40. I think he means 43 and 39 would be the best record since the 2012-2013 season when we won 50 games. Bro, it's been 10 years since that season. We're in 2023. That season was 2012-2013, literally a 10-year anniversary of that team. Jonathan, great for pointing it out. But my man Phil, he's the captain of the segues, right? Because my man Phil brought up Cam Reddish, and it's a great way for us to segue into the conversation of a Sir Cameron Reddish. Cam Reddish may be moved before the deadline. I'm gonna take maybe out of there to it's going to happen. So Cam Reddish to be moved before the trade deadline. Phil, what's your thoughts on that, brother?
Yeah, it's someone made a tweet about it yesterday. They were like, "Yo, Phil, they got to be gone," and I was like, "I don't know with Tibbs. Like that's the crazy thing." And they're like, "What? He's just gonna like sit for the rest of the year, like when we need something?" And I said, the thing is if it wasn't Tibbs, I would say yes, he's for sure going to be gone. But like with Tibbs, anything is possible, So I believe Cam Reddish should be moved. I'm hoping Cam Reddish gets moved for the sake of Cam Reddish. I want to see him thrive somewhere. My hope right now is, I know that from the tabloids, if they're true, the Nuggets have shown interest in him. So give him somebody else. Let's get Bones Highland. Like, we've talked about that before. There's a lot of people that have been pro Bones Highland.
Hey.
I'll give it to Charlotte from Let's Talk Knicks. Even on our episode, I believe it was on our episode or on a space the next day, she had talked about wishing that we could get a player like Bones Highland off the bench. And then he became available. So I think that would be a great trade. They want to move him. They want to add somebody into their rotation that can help them win now. I think Cam Reddish can do that. They've shown interest in him. So if we're not going to utilize him and we can utilize Bones Highland, let's get the trade going. Let's throw in whatever we got to throw in.
And I brought up Bones Highland a couple of episodes ago, and I love the kid. I love his offensive talent. Like I said, he's a better version of Emmanuel Quickly from the offensive side of things, not from the defensive side of things or playmaking, but from a pure scorer, a better version of IQ. Love that kid 100%. Shout out our guy Shy Legacy in the building. Shy, what it do?
Hey, he said what's up to me this time.
Yeah, he said what's up, Phil.
I feel good, bro.
You feel seen. You feel seen. You're seen now. You're seen. The thing with Cam Reddish that frustrates me, right? And Knicks fans in the chat, let me know what you guys think about this. And Phil, as well, obviously, I'm gonna throw it to you so you could bounce it back to me. But when it comes to Cam Reddish, what frustrates me, the teams that you name, Denver, right? Philadelphia, right? The Lakers, right? And there's probably a couple other teams, the Phoenix Suns as well. All four of those, and Golden State. Let's throw Golden State because Golden State has shown interest in him as well. All five of those teams are teams that are expected to compete for the championship. And those 5 teams see value in Cam Reddish. But for some reason, our team, our GM, our coach does not see the value in Cam Reddish. When you have 5 teams that are interested in one of your players, and all 5 teams are competing for a championship, and they see this kid as a piece to help them get that championship, something should go off in your head. A light bulb should click off in your head to let you know what? Maybe the 6'8" wing small forward defender that we need that can shoot from beyond the arc. Maybe we have him in Cam Reddish. Why go out there and try to trade for somebody? Or why go out there and trade Cam Reddish when the teams that are trying to compete for the top spot are the teams that want him? Yeah. Am I off base for saying that, Phil? Let me know.
No, not at all. And that's been the anomaly for all of us, the whole time is like, if what we're saying we want, like even when Tim says we played Evan Fournier because of length, it makes you go, what are you talking about? Like, we got a guy that's got more length and more versatility on both ends of the court already on the bench.
If I may, I'm so sorry, Phil. If I may, I apologize. Yeah. Kenny Payne in the building. Salute my guy, Kenny Payne. I love your insight, brother. But when you say I'm over this super Cam narrative, I don't think any of us, you or me, Phil, said Cam Reddish was going to be a superstar at any point. No, what I'm doing, what I'm saying is, or what I'm pointing out is that we have 5 teams, right, that are expected to compete for the championship, and all 5 of those teams are rumored to be calling the Knicks about this player. Maybe the Knicks need to look themselves in the mirror and see, wow, why are all 5 of those teams that are contending teams calling us for this kid? That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Go ahead, Phil. Yeah. I apologize for cutting you off, bro.
No. And that's the thing is, like, what fans need to realize, it doesn't have to be a like either or, that that Cam is either this superstar or he's this bum. Like, he is a good player. He's a role player. Like, and these teams aren't looking to trade him to be their number 2. They're looking to him to have him help compete for a championship because they feel like he could be an additional piece that is worth using. That's what we're saying. Like, we're not looking for a 1, 2, 3, or even a 4. We have those guys, but we are looking for rotation pieces that can come off the bench and help us, and we're suffering there. So what we're trying to say is, it doesn't have to be superstar Cam. We're not saying he's superstar material. We're saying we need a good rotation wing. He is a good rotation wing that others see the potential in of being a good rotation wing. Yeah. So we are neglecting the fact that other people see something that we have ignored. So no one's saying he's a superstar or that he's going to revolutionize the game or anything like that. We are saying that he is a good piece that we could have used, that other people will use. They need depth. We need depth.
Now, when Kenny Payne brings up championship teams need depth, but nobody is signing him long term, that's a different conversation. That's a totally different conversation than teams that are expecting to compete for a championship or wanting to trade for a player. Speculating if those teams are going to sign him long term is a different conversation than those teams are calling our team for the player that we don't want. Now, do champion teams need depth? Absolutely. Every team needs depth in the NBA. We don't have Mitchell Robinson. You can guarantee the Knicks need an extra big man if something goes down with Jericho Sims or with Isaiah Hartenstein, knock on wood. 100%. Teams need depth. But why is it that those 5 teams are calling us for a guy that we have riding the bench? Why aren't they calling for Evan Fournier? Why aren't they calling for Miles McBride? Why aren't they calling for other players that we have on our team? When it comes to Rosas Badankis, that's probably overseas right now, but there's so many teams out there. Why are they calling for Cam Reddish? And that's the only question I got. That's the only question I got. Now, trying to speculate if teams want to sign him long term, we're not in the front office, right? We don't have connections to GMs. We can't just pick up our phone and text GMs and see how they feel about Cam Reddish for the long way or for the future. We can't. All we can see is what plays out this season. And what is playing out right now, Kenny Payne, is that those 5 teams that I just mentioned are rumored to be contacting the Knicks for that one player, Cam Reddish. That's something that's not anecdotal. That's something that we can actually measure and see at a micro and a macro level.
Yeah. And that's the thing is we won't know. Like if one of these teams trade for him and he shows up and he is that extra piece that they needed, then it's a win for them. You know, if they decide, hey, he is what we wanted and he's a little more, let's actually sign him long term. That'll only tell with time. All we can say right now is that he played well for us in that short stint, like he did, you know, like his numbers show that. He is someone that even being DNP'd for the last 20-something games is still getting interest from playoff contending teams. You know, that says something. You know, that says something that all they had to see was that and still have some kind of interest. What we get for it in return, who knows? But Cam Reddish's future will only be determined by him actually seeing time on the court and people being able to say whether or not he is something to invest long term in or if it was short term and let him go. But we won't know that till later. Like we're not going to hypothesize that.
Yeah, and it's all just taking a gamble. It's a low risk, high reward. You know, whatever team trades for Cam Reddish, it's a low risk and a high reward. They may be able to roll the dice and get something out of Cam Reddish that we weren't able to get out, you know, or Atlanta wasn't able to get out of Cam Reddish. But I'm just saying it's very weird that those teams are hitting us up about a player that's a DMP for over the past 20 games, like Phil just mentioned. But the trade speculation and the trade rumors is going crazy because there's another one that we have going up, and I'm gonna bring it up right now for the guys so we can have this convo. But Phil, lead it off. Go ahead. Let them know. What do you think about this one?
Honestly, I saw Derek yesterday, and seeing him actually in person just reminded me how many like games that I've watched that I absolutely loved watching Derek play. And yes, he is not the player that he was, you know, but I also know he's only got a few more years in the tank. And if there's a team that can actually utilize him for 10 minutes a game to help them get to where they need to go, I would much rather see that for the end of Derek's career than see him in a blue and orange uniform sitting down chewing bubblegum all day. Like, I want to see him go somewhere. And honestly, I think this would be a great fit. Like, I think that he could come in for 10 minutes off the bench with Milwaukee and actually do some damage, you know, with them. Because I feel like he actually fits what they're trying to do. You know, like that's one thing that they need on their roster is someone who, when Drew Holiday sits down, that can actually dribble and facilitate. And that's something that Derek can do. Like, I think he's struggled with us because he's no longer that shot creator and penetrator that he used to be. But he still has handles. He still has basketball IQ. And he can use that in Milwaukee. So I could see them easily letting go of like, because what do they have right now? They have like George Hill and is it like Jevin Carter coming off the bench? Like Derrick Rose would definitely be a better, you know, off the bench PG than those guys. I don't know what we would actually get for him, but for my sake, if it really is true what the organization and Tibbs have said that they want the best for Derek moving forward, they want what's best for him, then I would hope that they would just let him go. You know, like even if it's for second round picks or something like that. We're not going to utilize him. If we really want the best for him, let's get what we can get. And yeah, if we're getting Hill and Grayson Allen, heck yeah. You know, give him Rose, give him Fournier, give him a pick. I think Grayson Allen would be a better fit for us right now where we're at anyway.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And then with a team like Milwaukee, Pudge, I see, you know, Grayson Allen is somebody that I wanted early when we had the conversation. But with a team like Milwaukee, it's the perfect place for D Rose to go, right? Because that team is built on defense. Number one team that team is built on is defense. Their second unit, defense as well. So having D Rose on a team that has defense built around him coming off the bench, it's just going to work wonders for him. Having a team that defensively is not the best, it's not a perfect match for D Rose. The Milwaukee Bucks, it would be a perfect matchup to send D Rose, to have him come off the bench. And let's be honest, we want to see D Rose win a championship. I know the NBA story out there about D Rose. When it comes to D Rose, Tom Thibodeau ruined his career. That may be true. But we will all want to see D Rose one of these days host up that trophy, whether it's a 6-man role or whether it's just being on the bench. And I think Milwaukee is the perfect place for him to go for that to happen. I don't see any other team out there that if you add D Rose, maybe Boston, but I'm not sure if Boston would use him coming off the bench because they already have a solid bench unit. The Lakers, but then does D Rose make the Lakers championship contenders? No. So the perfect team that would have for D Rose will be Milwaukee. I'm definitely rooting for him.
You know what I just thought of? I don't even know if this is like true or like conspiracy theory in my mind, but you were talking about like Tibbs and Rose. Like, isn't it weird that two of the most like athletic players that have come out and played for Tom Thibodeau, their careers have taken huge turns based off of injury, like to their legs, like in Levine and in Derrick Rose?
Do tell, because I'm intrigued. Go ahead, do tell.
Isn't that surprising? Like,
wow.
Like, why is it that someone so athletic playing 40 minutes a game could have an injury that totally changes their career? It's like
Luol Deng in Chicago being just overused and almost dying during surgery. He was misdiagnosed by the athletic staff, by the doctor's staff with the Chicago Bulls, and they sent him in for a surgery that he didn't need. They sent him in for a hip injection he didn't need, and he almost died.
Yep. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like, when you look at the fact that, like, that is the case with two.
Shout out my guy Sunil. I'm just seeing him in the chat. Sunil, what it do? Salute to you, my guy.
So yeah, that's just crazy to me to think about. But what else you got? What else you got to chat about?
Oh, wait, and Kenny Payne, thank you for bringing this up because it totally slipped my mind. Congratulations to LeBron James for breaking the all-time scoring record. Kenny Payne said Tibbs should have coached Bron. He would have never broke those records. That's hilarious. But shout out to LeBron James. He passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar last night, right? One thing I could say, Phil, is that when we look back on this, right, you, myself, Jiggaman, everyone else that's in the content creating game, Ron and John, still Knicks fans, Uncle Foxy over there at Sports 5's TV. One thing that we can say is that during the time LeBron James broke the record, we, as sports content creators, were covering basketball during that time. It is a special time to be alive. It is a special time to be a content creator, right? So shout out to LeBron James. Shout out to everybody else that is a content creator that were able to share a piece of this history by covering the sport. Shout out to LeBron James. There's nothing else to say. Now, you can have the argument of who's better, him or Jordan. Jordan would probably beat him 9 times out of 10 one-on-one. But LeBron James, he's an all-time scorer.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's crazy because I have a good friend who actually flew out for the game. He, punched a bunch of numbers in earlier this year, and he took 2 people that are like investors in his business, and they flew out to California for the game in hopes that would have been the game that broke the record. And so they got to witness it live, and the funniest thing was like seeing how the whole like organization reacts, to certain things, like the fact that they stopped the game in the middle, like as soon as he made that shot, it was like as if the game was over. Like everybody came out to the court, they had a whole like presentation, they had a break, like it. If that would have like been the cause of OKC losing the game because they were playing so well up to that point, it was like the NBA like freezed the players, like freezed the game in order to like
you have to. It's history. Yeah, it's history. You got to.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It was like as if they just won the championship. Like balloons could have came down and like everything. But yeah, it was an awesome moment to see. You know, I've liked LeBron a lot better at the end of his career than I liked him in the beginning of his career, based off of like his pride and arrogance in the beginning.
Mhm.
Even though he's been a little less electrifying at the second half of his career. But yeah, it was fun to watch. It's been a fun career to watch. You know, like that's the kind of thing that as Knick fans, you hope to one day get a player of that kind of caliber. You know, you hope one day to see that before you die.
Now, there's a clip from the JJ Redick podcast that premiered this morning, right? I want you guys to hear it, right? Because I don't want to mix words. You know, I always say that you got to hear it from the horse's mouth first, right? So, Phil, I'm gonna play this clip from JJ Redick. That way, you and we could bounce back and forth on this topic. But I want to get your thoughts on it. But first, guys, let's listen to what JJ said.
We collectively, as a society, have tried everything to somehow discredit or dismantle LeBron's legacy. And all that guy has done is win, break records, build enterprises, build schools. There's certainly a level of respect, but for the fear factor, if you get into a playoff series with LeBron, if you're prepping to play LeBron, you're certainly fearful of who he is as a player. Physically, I took a charge on LeBron my 5th year in Orlando. I caught his spin move perfectly. I ended up with 11 stitches under my eye. And I was standing there knowing he was going to make that spin move. And was I standing there in fear? Absolutely. Absolutely I was.
Shout out to JJ Redick for just even admitting that. But, you know, it has some validation to it. Because when you look at it, right,
Yeah.
the one thing that people could discredit LeBron on, and this is not a whole LeBron conversation, we're just going to have it real quick. The one thing people can try to discredit LeBron when it comes to what he's accomplished in his career was going to Miami, right? Joining D Wade and Chris Bosh, the evil empire of the basketball, the new villains of the NBA. That's what LeBron James, that's what people try to discredit LeBron James. Has LeBron James been to the finals a bunch of times and lost? Yes, absolutely. Has he won? Absolutely. Right. But what JJ Redick said, like you said, at that time when LeBron went to Miami, I couldn't stand the man. I couldn't stand him. I'm just being honest. I couldn't stand the man. Over the past few years, I have grown to learn to not only respect, but to admire the work that he does on and off the court, right? So for me, LeBron, you have won me over. Just like Ron just said in the chat, I agree with. I couldn't stand LeBron before. I can tolerate him now. So you won us over as Knicks fans, LeBron. And the thing about LeBron that separates him from a Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant is that Michael Jordan and both Kobe Bryant, we can say from watching the documentaries and hearing the stories, they were both psychotic. Like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant was some psychopaths. Let's be honest. They used to terrorize their teammates during practice. Let's be honest. They used to fight their teammates. LeBron James, since he stepped into the NBA, has played this game with the energy of a child, with the smile and with the happiness of a child. They are playing a children's game, and LeBron, he enthrused that. You can see that coming out of his pores. He plays the game like he is still a child, and he has the happiness of a child as he plays the game. Now, I'm not trying to discredit what Jordan or what Kobe. No, I'm not, because they were some of the all-time greats. But what I'm saying is that what separates LeBron from them, LeBron's not a psychopath like those two were. Go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, you know, like here's the thing is everything's based off of experience, you know? Like I'm sure there are some players that will say that when they played with LeBron, it wasn't a great experience. Like you got to think like Dwayne Wade is one of his closest friends. And yet Dwayne Wade to this day says that the greatest player to ever play the game is Michael Jordan. You know, and he had a side-by-side experience with LeBron James, you know? But you can't discredit the player that LeBron James is throughout his career. Like one thing that blows my mind about LeBron James that I have to give him credit is that when do you see a player who is in the top 10 for not just points, but also assists? I think he's like 4th right now. So a player that could score that much, but is also passing that much, that's a different kind of player. Like, that's just a different kind of player. You look at John Stockton, he's number one in assist records. But John Stockton was not a bucket getter. Like, he was straight up a facilitator and a passer. That's who he was.
Yeah.
But LeBron is both of those, So that's the dangerous thing about LeBron James, is that he can hit you with multiple things that'll keep you guessing. And that's always been his strength. And the fact that when he decides he's going to do something, he's going to do something. Like, homeboy decided that last night was going to be the game that he broke his record. He had his mom there. He had his kids there. He had his wife there. He had all of his close friends and family there. And there was no way. What up, Jigga?
What up,
there was no way he was going to walk away without being the leader at the end of that game. And so what does he do? He scores 36 points by the third freaking quarter. Like, third quarter. Like, and then he scored 2 points after that. It was like, all right, see you later. Like, he just didn't care. Like, that was the whole point of the game yesterday.
I showed up for LeBron talk. All right.
Yeah.
Look,
and it was crazy.
I'll say this on the LeBron stuff. First of all, what up, Heck? What up, Phil? What up,
good,
chat? What up, TC Steels? Appreciate it. What up, homie? So no lie, we did a watch along last night for LeBron, and when he got that hand or the phantom hit to the face, right? I swore that moment right there he wasn't going to come back out. I thought he was going to play it off. Oh, I hurt myself. I'm injured. I can't come back out, so he can do it against the Bucks. But the good news is, I made $10 last night because I bet Kung Fu D that he'd get that LeBron, if he played, would get it done in the third quarter. And then how cool was it to see a second halftime? I've never seen that in a game before, right? A second halftime. That was ridiculous. But guys, look, I can't stay long. What up, Sunil? See you in the chat. Just want to come on and plug a couple things. All right.
Yeah,
how about the trade deadline's tomorrow, right?
Oh yeah. What we doing?
So I think we should do a little special edition episode tomorrow. What if we did something like this?
That?
Check this out. Check this out. Tomorrow. Hooking up with still Knicks fans tomorrow.
We've been hold on. I gotta stop this because we've been friends for like over a year, bro. But if there's anything that has to do with a clown, you have to F me, bro. I am petrified of clowns, bro. You know that. As my friend, how many times have you sent a clown gif and I done cursed you out? You gotta warn me about these things, bro. Stop it.
We're throwing it down tomorrow night, guys. 6:30 p.m.
Enough clowning.
We're hooking up with Ron and John, still Knicks fans. We're going to throw a little mixed emotions trade deadline recap special. Everybody in the chat, tune in. And we're going to make it open panel. It's about emotions, whether we're happy or sad as Knicks fans, or even if you're not Knicks fans. We're going to be talking NBA trade deadline recap. Overall, come share your venting and your happiness, whatever it is. And then on top of that, guys, also on Friday, don't forget, we got Alex in the building this Friday. And of course, we'll have open panel afterwards. Lots going on. But tomorrow night, how you doing?
How you doing? Yeah.
It's gonna be dope. It's gonna be dope.
Oh, yeah.
Appreciate it. I saw Ron John chat earlier. Appreciate you guys. And I'll let you guys keep doing your basketball talk. And Phil, when are you gonna ship me the hat?
This thing is never going anywhere, Papa. Standing right here.
You're not my brother anymore.
Standing right here. So I just
that's
upset
a dope.
my brother.
That's a dope. That's a dope.
Here's
that's
the
a dope
council in the
signature.
head. Before we jump back in, just a reminder, you guys, KOD Media,
yes,
our family, they have really, believed in what we're doing, and they're letting us kind of like leave the home, so in a few episodes, we will no longer be like on the KOD YouTube channel as our main channel. We're going to release exclusive content there. But we will be doing our actual show at the link that I just posted, The Morning Brew Sports, where we will be having Knicks Morning Brew, Yankees Morning Brew, and then multiple spin-off shows. So they have supported us. They want us to be able to kind of really focus on doing this and generating some income and being able to like actually commit to this full time. So we thank KOD for their love and their support. You guys have shown mad love and support on this channel to us. So we need you guys. We need you guys to head over to this one. Let's get those 1,000 subscribers that have joined in the last like 8 months, and let's get those over to the new channel so that we can continue to grow there. And so we're really excited to see what happens with that channel. And and you know, we're thankful for you guys. So quick plug there.
Yeah, no, 100%. And if you guys can, like Phil said, just, you know, help us out. You know, help us get back to 1,000 subscribers when we start the new channel. You know, KOD, like Phil said, that letting us spread our wings. You know, it's the parents that are sending their kids off to college, but you know, but in a different way. But it's kind of the same thing over here. But the Morning Brew Sports, you can catch me, you can catch Phil, you can catch Jiggaman, the Yankees Morning Brew, the Knicks Morning Brew, and spinoff shows as well. I got my man TC Stills. Who know? Maybe TC Stills and myself would do a Yankee show during the season for a pregame. Who knows? We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But Phil, let's go get back to the convo about LeBron James before we dip out, because it's about to be 15-12. When it comes to LeBron James, Kenny Payne, I appreciate you, my guy. And Kenny Payne, our #1 draft pick. Salute my guy, Kenny Payne. Appreciate you 100%. When it comes to LeBron James, right? What was the #1? Because everything you said about him was spot on. Can't disagree with anything you said. What was the #1 critique about LeBron James when he came into the league? What was the one thing people say he couldn't do?
I don't even remember.
Shoot the three.
Long ago? Shoot the three.
Shoot the three.
Yeah.
Shoot the three. Shoot the ball. LeBron James will be finishing his career in top 10 of 3 points made in the NBA. Wow. So with the one thing that people criticized him for, the one thing that they said he cannot do, knock down the open three, shoot an open three. Yeah. LeBron James will finish his career in the top 10 of made 3-point shots in the NBA. You can't discredit this man, LeBron James. And I think somebody put it in the chat. I passed by. I forgot to highlight it. And said LeBron, he's very childish right now, right? And this is what you got to understand about LeBron. He had very humble beginnings, right? Just like myself, LeBron James, he's a product of the Section 8 housing, you know, going into domestic violence shelters with my mom when I was a kid is the same thing like LeBron James did when he was a kid, right? Section 8, that's how I grew up, right? So the reason why LeBron James, you can say he's very childish right now, is because when he was a kid, he didn't have the money to afford to be a kid. So that's why when people ask me, oh, Hector, why are you into this? Why are you into that? The reason why I'm 32, 33 years old and I play Pokemon at my age is because when I was a kid, my family couldn't afford to buy me the Pokemon games. So right now at 33, when I have the money in my pocket, I'm able to buy it. I'm going to buy it, right? When it comes to this Yankee jersey, my Aaron Judge Yankee jersey that I have, growing up as a kid, where I grew up with my family, we didn't have the money to buy an official Yankee jersey. So I had to always buy the knockoff jerseys or the jersey that had no number in the back, right? Right? So, but at this age, I have the money, so I'm going to treat myself. It's the same thing with LeBron James, making sure that his kids get the future that he never had, bro. Appreciate you, TC Stills.
Here's the thing, like,
my man Dripmore's in the building. Dripmore, what it do? Haven't seen you in a while, my guy. Hope you're doing good, baby. Go ahead, Phil. My fault.
There's a huge difference between childish and childlike. Like, there's a difference. Like, childish is, oh, you know, you don't know how to grow up. Like, you don't know how to behave like a responsible adult. Well, you don't say that to somebody who is giving tons of, like, thousands upon thousands upon thousands of millions of dollars to education, to, you know, to families in need. Like, that's not the kind of thing, you know. Childlike is someone that's like, yo, I missed these opportunities. I'm going to enjoy it now because I can. Yeah. And I'm still going to be a responsible man, you know, like he's still like, so I don't think he's childish because that's a negative, you know. He's childlike. He's experiencing things that he didn't get to experience, you know, and like, there comes a time where you like okay, now I got to make some changes. Like me and my wife talk about it all the time. Like we grew up, my mom was a single mom. She busted her butt, but living in New York City as a single mom, it doesn't matter how good you were. Like we just didn't own things, like
Mm-hmm.
things were, the way they were. They were check to check. I had tons
Yeah.
of medical bills from my cancer when I was younger that my mom bore that burden on, so we
Mm-hmm.
didn't have a lot of money. Getting married, I didn't have much, when my business actually started to succeed, we wound up doing a lot of things that I wasn't able to do growing up. And looking back, we're like, oh man, we should have probably like been a little more like smart about our money in that time, especially after like COVID came. Like, oh crap, we should have saved a little more. But I don't regret those seasons for me and my
Mm-hmm.
wife. Like, we just learn from them now, like, but LeBron's able to do that. He's able to provide, he's able to
Mm-hmm.
act badly in a Space Jam movie and like just enjoy his life right now. So let the man do it.
You never gonna live down this. You never gonna live down the Space
Jam
movie,
his
bro.
career for me. That's the downside of his career for me. So salute
Facts.
to him. That's whatever.
Yeah.
A man
My
that
guy
can be
Drip
my
Lord.
age. Yeah. So
Same here.
A man that can be my age and be averaging 32 points a game when I run up and down the court once and I'm winded and ready to like have a substitution. Like you gotta let the man do what he's gonna do. So
Yeah,
props.
drip more. Let them know, baby. They don't know what it's like to make 2 packages of ramen noodles and throw some Vienna sausages in it and call that a 5-course meal. They don't know what that's like, bro. But no, in all honesty, Phil, looking back on our childhoods, it may be, we can understand why we have the certain tendencies we have right now, right? Just like I mentioned with my love for video games and Pokemon was because of my childhood. The reason Phil has 100 Nick hats is the same thing, right? It's the same way, right? We weren't able to enjoy it as a kid. So as adults, we're going to be able to indulge in it responsibly, right? And that's all we say, as long as you can do it responsibly, right? But, it's good to be sentimental and connect when it comes to certain things like that, because we are humans at the end of the day. And not everybody has humble beginnings. Not everybody is born with a silver spoon in their mouth, right? So you got to be able to pave the way going forward for other people and let people know, listen, if you had it rough growing up, you ain't the only one. I'm here for you. Let's have these conversations. Let's share our trauma and laugh collectively. But hold on. There's another thing that we didn't bring up. 2 things actually that we didn't bring up, right? First one, Jericho Sims is going to compete in the slam dunk contest. The Walls of Jericho is going to Utah, baby.
Bro, that's gonna be incredible. Like yesterday, he had that like alley-oop dunk and he had that like cut dunk, and during warm-ups, just watching him jump for the sake of jumping and like Obi bouncing it to him and him trying to grab it and dunk it just for the heck of it. Like I was excited to hear that because I think this boy can take it. I think and it would be cool to see back-to-back years where the Knicks had a slam dunk champion.
Yeah, you guys, Jiggaman is going back and forth. I'm sorry because he was trying to come in and I hit him by accident. But just so you guys know, Jiggaman is like producing other shows. That's why he's just in the background, just being himself. There you go. Yeah, he didn't. Oh, he's here again. But no, shout out to Jericho Sims. It's good to have representation at the dunk contest, right?
Yep.
So I'm happy to see Jericho Sims there. I don't any word on Obi. I'm not sure about is Obi going to be there also?
Not that I know of.
Not because I haven't seen anything from Obi Toppin going to be there. So we'll see. It all determines. If we have 2 Knicks at the slam dunk contest, why not? I'm happy for it. Maybe Jericho Sims would jump over Obi Toppin this time. Let's see. My man E. Gibson says the Walls of Jericho going to go into the full cyborg mode and win the slam dunk contest. Hopefully. I wanted either Obi or Jericho Sims. Honestly, I would like to see Jericho Sims because we don't know. Big men aren't known for being like dunkers like that, right?
Yeah.
The reason why Dwight Howard won it is because he was a big man that was showing that he could fly, right? So big men aren't known for like the windmill dunks or anything like that. So let's see if Jericho Sims has something in his bag before the weekend's over.
Yeah, I'm excited for it, man. Like he I think he could take it if he goes tomorrow. If he goes into it, really wanting to show people up, I think he will. So the ones that are reported is KJ Martin's reported to be in it.
Okay.
From Houston, Mac McClung from Delaware Bluecoats, I guess G League participant. Trey Murphy from the Pelicans is confirmed, and Shaden Sharp from Portland is confirmed.
Okay. Okay.
So
Listen, it
it'll be a good
should be a good dunk contest. My man Ray Dixon is in the building. What it do, Ray? Didn't see you. What it do? What it do? What it do? But the last one that we have, and I think it's a perfect way to like have a conversation to close out a show. But what do you think of this? James Dolan open to selling minority ownership stakes. It's a big word. Minority ownership stakes in the Knicks and Rangers. What's your thoughts on that, bro?
Man, here's the thing. It's going to be all business. It's not going to do anything to actually change the organization for us. You know, he recently said in an interview that he has no intentions of letting ownership really go, that he plans on keeping it in his family. You know, so this is kind of like fool's gold kind of thing where this can maybe like golden carrot in front of a Knicks player's face, like, hey, I'm going to give up some ownership, but nothing's going to change. Like, it's going to be so minor that financially it helps, you know, like him, but it's not going to do anything to actually change anything for the Knicks or the Rangers. The minority stake is not going to change anything. Once again, it's a business move by Dolan. Like, what can I do to improve my business? Not what can I do to have a better organization or better franchises. That's not his concern. He's proven that time and time again. So whether it happens or not means nothing to us as fans, in my opinion.
Yeah. For me, you know, going to school, and like learning like economics and stuff like that, it helped me understand the business of professional sports, right? It just helped me understand corporate America in general. But professional sports, you know, because we cover it, James Dolan having the majority shareholders, you know, shareholder whatever, it's ownership of the Knicks, the stakes, majority ownership stake of the Knicks means that he could vote himself in as the CEO. And that's what happens, right? The CEO, it's voted in by the shareholders. You have more ownership in shares, you have more votes, right? So if the Knicks Morning Brew was split down the middle, 50-50 or 49-51, if Phil had 51% of it and I had 49%, Phil would be able to vote himself in as a CEO because he has more votes at 51%. And that's what's going on here with the Knicks right now. If James Dolan, as long as he keeps majority ownership stake in the team, if he keeps his ownership stake over that 51% threshold, no one could vote him out of the CEO position or the position that he is in when it comes to the Knicks. Now, he has said, like Phil said, he wants to pass this on to his family. He wants to pass this on to who comes on behind him. He needs to start making better decisions moves, right? He poo-pooed the box, or he poo-pooed the deal when it came to selling Cablevision. I don't think he should have ever sold Cablevision. I think that was one of the biggest mistakes that he did. Selling Cablevision so he could start buying arenas to start being a how do you call it in the music industry? A booking agent. That's what he's trying to do right now. He's buying different stadiums. He has one, the old Forum that's in LA right now. He's buying them so he could be a booking agent and book his music and book his group. He's focused more on the music side of things than he is on the business side of things when it comes to the Knicks. I'm gonna need James Dolan to get it together and put all of his priority into the Knicks and into the Rangers. More the Knicks than anything because the Rangers are fine, right? Stop trying to go for your music. You suck.
Yep.
Your group sucks. JD and the Straight Shots, you guys suck. All right, so just focus on your business when it comes to the Knicks, and that's it. And the only reason he's even looking at selling minority ownership stakes of the Knicks is because he's trying to buy a new arena in LA.
Yep.
That's what he's doing right now.
Yeah, which means he's going to have less devotion, less commitment, and less care for the New York organization.
Now, I'm not sure if that's a good thing or bad thing. The less we see of James Dolan, the better. I'm not sure if that's a good or bad thing. Honestly, I'm really not. So I'm honestly stuck in the middle. I'm honestly stuck. Matter of fact, you know what? Focus on your music group, right? Focus on, even though it sucks, even though JD and the Straight Shots, you guys are horrible. You got good production value. I give you that. You got a real good videographer. That's the one thing I could give you. But besides that, you guys suck. I'm actually trying to find one of this. I'm gonna try to find one of these songs before we go.
what I would like to see is, like, is there anyone in New York that can barter and be like, hey, I have a connection to give you guys a full-on record deal if you sell the organization and you can focus on your music for the rest of your life? Like, I don't care how bad they are. Throw in some money, put them on the road, let him tour all over to like 5 people in a crowd all the time, live in the glory days, and let someone else take over MSG.
My man Kenny Payne said, I'll never knock a group that has performed in MSG. He had them perform in MSG. The only reason they performed in MSG is because of James Dolan. James Dolan, what's it? Billy Joe, right? James Dolan pays Billy Joe money so his group can open for Billy Joe. As somebody who worked in the music industry, Phil, have you ever heard of that? Someone paying the headliner to allow their group open for them. It's the other way around normally, right?
So this is, this is when I used to be a tour manager. What used to happen is bands that really couldn't get their own fan base would buy onto a tour. So they'd be like, hey, can we play this many cities and we'll pay you? Yes. And the big thing is that they always want to make sure that no one knows that they bought onto a tour because it looks like desperation.
Paid to play.
Yeah. We seriously would see that with very, very small, no-name bands that had no connections, no nothing. Not someone who's a millionaire.
Billy Joe, right? Okay.
Yeah, not someone who's a millionaire like James Dolan that has like people, like the most famous people ever sitting on his sidelines every single week and still can't get on a tour without paying for it. That's desperation, even at the highest point of success in your life. And that is kind of, should be a, hey, there's something that you need to learn about your group. Nobody wants to take you on the road unless you're giving millions of dollars. It's funny. It's funny.
Listen. The way that James Dolan smiles with his veneers in his mouth, it's just hilarious, right? The way it looks like someone drew donkey teeth in his mouth, it's just hilarious. But I'm gonna stop before MSG shuts us down. If you guys can't, Phil, if you could put the link in the chat for the Morning Brew Sports, like Phil and I was talking earlier. If you guys can follow the new channel, the Morning Brew Sports, in the next couple of weeks, all the content from the Knicks Morning Brew and the Yankees Morning Brew will be housed on that channel. It's not nothing negative. Don't think KOD dropped us or anything like that. No, we'll still be making content for the Knights of DJ and for KOD Media. The thing is that we're giving out wings to spread. We're like the kid that's being kicked out and told to go to college, right? So if you guys can follow us on the new channel, support us on the new channel as we build that one up, because 2023, it's going to be a banger. With the work that Jiggaman and myself is doing with NYY News TV, April 1st and April 2nd, make sure you guys are there because the Yankee game is going to be amazing and Gramercy Air House is going to be a banger. But that stuff that we're in the works with when it comes to the Knicks Morning Brew that we can't talk on. But you guys just stay tuned because it's going to be a banger. Phil, any last words before we dip out with these fine people?
No, like, let's keep chatting via our Twitter back and forth. What you guys are thinking is going to happen in the next 23 hours. So, 27 hours. 27 hours from today. Will we make any changes? If so, who do you think it's going to be? We posted a tweet yesterday about it, like asking you guys if you think anything is going to happen. So we want to hear from you guys. Leave a reply to that video. Let us know who you think we're going to get, if anybody. And let's see if our predictions are correct or if we were way off. But join us, and still Knicks fans, like, we love hanging out with Ron and John. So it's going to be a great, great time. I'm going to love seeing their crowd and our crowd kind of interact in the chat panel. And I believe Jigga said there will be open panel where we can bring people up and kind of talk about how we really felt about what we did or didn't do. So let's get everybody together. Let's spread the word. We will be tweeting it out today. We would appreciate a retweet so that we can get as many people in there as possible to talk about if we're excited or if we need counseling. So let's figure that out.
Yeah, Jonathan, it's not going to be at the 3 p.m. trade deadline. It's not when we go. We're going to come on at 6:30 with Ron and John from Still Knicks Fans, like Phil was just saying. So make sure you guys tune in. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. Shout out to the chat. Shout out my man Sunil. It's in the building. Jonathan as well. Kenny Payne, the most appreciated first round pick in the Knicks universe. Kenny Payne, my man. E. Gibson was in the building. E. Gibson, how you doing? Haven't seen you in a minute. Hope all is well. The number one troll that we all love. He's a friend of mine. He's a friend of yours. Delano Still Jr., who still hasn't called me back when I called him yesterday because of the missed phone call. I'm still waiting for your phone call, Delano. I'm not putting you on the spot. But everyone else, Eric Wallace, my man Dripmore, who was in the building. TC Stills was in the building. Ron and John, Still Knicks Fans, was in the building. We appreciate everyone for tuning in. Jiggaman is here before we dip out.
Phil, you plugged it, right? You said, hey, make sure you guys tune in tomorrow. You don't want to be a clown. Scare Hector. Show up tomorrow. I had to do that just for you, bro.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Oh man, your brother, I just love him more and more each day as the days go by, bro. How were you able to do it for your 38 years of life?
Bro, I'm still going through counseling. Still going through.
Phil, love you, my guy. Peace out, bro.
Love you, brother. Peace.
Later. Peace.
Reddish stepped 440, you serious cause of size. Over outside language is your planet built on lies. The only path to Knicks success is to call for your demise. Fire death! Burn the past like fire death! It's the last night fire death! From the coverage to modern NBA, made you obsolete. You are obsolete.
I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then I go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then I go off. Yeah, I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. Yeah, I hit the ground, then I go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then I go off. Yeah, run it. Ooh, I really feel it's my time. Think it's my year. Yeah. I really feel it's my time. Think it's my year. Yeah. I really feel it's my time. Think it's my year. Yeah. I really feel it's my time, think it's my pen ready. Used to hold myself back, my self-esteem been better. Gotta keep on sugar, ran through everything in front of me. Might smoke bed heavy, got a whole agenda. Can't aspire to get ahead, so bump that, it's no surrender. Got a dollar flipped up, I'm trying to get it an FT to get them when they're hand and crypto.